I watched that $100,000 go down to 97 cents. Everybody was like, yo, if you're not putting your money in this, then you're an idiot. You're gonna be broke for the rest of your life. At some point, greed is gonna pull your pants down and do whatever it wants to you. At some point, greed is gonna be like, come here, take those fucking pants off. At some point. Not a lot of people can say they've lost $100,000, and I wish I could look you in the eye right now and tell you that I'm not one of those people, but I am. I lost $100,000. Now, it's been about 6 years since it happened. At the time, I was 24 years old. God, hey, look, making $100,000 at 24 is crazy, just in itself. But yes, I made $100,000 when I was 24 years old, and I lost $100,000 when I was 24 years old. I didn't even get to keep the money for a year. It all went away, pipe dreams gone, had to return to Lamborghini and get back to a Toyota Corolla. Yeah. Now that some time has passed and I've grown from that experience, I was like, man, this is a story I want to share with people, like what I learned from losing that much money. And let me tell you something, I ain't get it back yet. I ain't get it back yet, but it's coming one of these days. God, please help me. So this all happened in a little time period called 2020. I don't know if y'all remember that year. It seems like everybody just kind of amnesia'd 2020, like it didn't happen because of the pandemic. Yeah, 2020, as you all probably know, unless you're like fucking 5 years old. In 2020, the markets were going crazy. Everybody was like getting into like stocks and crypto and investing. That was the year to make money. The thing is, that wasn't why I necessarily lost the money. I think what really led me to losing the money was the overconfident YouTubers. At that point in time, everybody online was a financial guru. Everybody was like, yo, if you're not putting your money in this, then you're an idiot. You're gonna be broke for the rest of your life. That was like the census at the time. And everybody was so confident. And I was just like, man, well, I mean, you can't be that confident and be wrong. There's no way. So I invested my money into cryptocurrency. I put my money into like Bitcoin and Ethereum, all that good stuff. I'm not even gonna go into all that. I still invest in it, but at the time I put everything, all of it, all the money, like literally. I think when I first started investing, I had like $5,000 to my name. And at the time, that was a lot of money for me. Like I had saved up $5,000 cash and I put all of that into crypto, right? Right before things really started popping off. And I watched that grow to like $20,000. And this is where lesson number one comes into play. Don't be greedy. That's the first lesson I learned. I watched my $5,000 turn to $20,000. This is the most money I have ever had in my entire life, hands down. Never had this much money before. And my immediate thought was, well, shit, if I can make 20, I can make 50. And that's what I did. I started getting a little more risky with the money. I threw the whole 20 back in the market. I'm playing with it. I made $50,000. And I was like, damn, if I can make $50,000, then maybe I can make $100,000. So that's what I did. I put all the money back in the market and I made $100,000. And right at this moment is where the lesson comes in, because at some point, greed is gonna bite you in the ass. At some point, greed is gonna pull your pants down and do whatever it wants to you. Okay? At some point, it might feel good when it's on the rise, but at some point, greed is gonna be like, come here, take those fucking pants off. At some point, my heart's racing. I'm looking at the money in my account. I'm like, this is insane. I was like, okay, this is probably the most money that I will ever make in my entire life. Shortly after, making that $100,000, I was just like, man, if you can make $100,000, that means you can make $1 million. There's no way. Like literally, you went from 5 to 100K. Logically, like 5 to 100K, that's like 50 times your money or something crazy. But I'm like, 100,000 to $1 million, that's just 10 times. We could do that. So I said, put all the money in the market. So I put all that 100K in the market, and I watched that $100,000 go down to 97 cents. Ah! That honestly is probably one of the worst days of my life. I remember watching that money, like, I woke up at 6 o'clock in the morning. Something felt wrong that day. I woke up and I was just like, man, like, let me check my account. And I looked into my crypto account and I watched that money. I'm watching it go down. It went from, it was at 100 and then it was at 80 and then it was at 50. I was like, oh, okay, let me pull out. Maybe I can keep 50. One thing that happened a lot at that time was like when money was going down like that, everybody's trying to pull their money out. So like the software is glitching and nobody can pull their money out. That's just what was happening. So as I'm trying to pull the money out, it's like system error, does not compute, can't pull money out. And I'm watching it. 50,000, 30,000, 20,000, $500. I'm like, bro, at least give me that. Golly. And then right when I was able to finally stop the transaction from spiraling down, it was at 97 cents. And I sat there with my hands on my head, just like sitting in front of and my laptop was in the closet. I didn't even have an office. I had a freaking closet, like literally like a little walk-in closet with my laptop in there. And I'm sitting in the closet just like, fuck, I lost everything. I lost, and this is all my money. This is everything that I've ever had to my name up until that point. I have $0 left, like no money at all. And I'm not gonna lie, like my first thought was like, I gotta die. Like this, I got this. There's no way I can live after this. Like I gotta get out of here. I gotta end it all. But I wasn't rational. I was like, all right, you're being a little irrational. You got to go to work on Tuesday. You'll make the money. You'll make some money on next week. And I went for a walk and with actually one of my friends who also lost all his money. And we were talking about it, and that was the moment we said, hey, listen, either we gonna fucking end it all or we gonna learn a lesson from it. And that's lesson number one. Don't be greedy. Know when enough is enough, because in life, like, we all have a little bit of greed. Like if you get one cookie, it's like, hey, can I get another cookie? If you have, same with money, people gamble, they don't know when to stop. Relationships, you got your wife and it's like, well, I want a little bit of that one too. Like, she look good, but like, the lesson that isn't necessarily don't be greedy. The lesson is greed can dismantle everything that you've worked hard for in every aspect of your life. Greed can shatter everything that you've built. And like I said, it's not just money. It can be relationships. It can be your weight. It can be anything that, like, if you work hard to do, like, you get greedy, it'll set you back. And the hard part isn't even just being set back. The hard part is getting back to where you used to be. I have friends that cheated on their wives, and like the relationships is never the same because they got greedy. They wanted a little more, and they just, like, the bouncing back. The cheating lasted probably 5 minutes. The greed lasted 5 minutes. But bouncing back and getting their relationship back to a point where they used to be can take 10 years for a 5-minute decision. A 1-month decision to lose $100,000 led me to 6 years later still not building back the $100,000. If you can avoid it by any means, try not to be greedy, because the bounce back ain't gonna be easy. Why did I not have any hesitation? And I think the reason is because I was fearless. And that brings me to lesson number 2. You gotta have a little bit of fear. Fear is okay. Fear is like a check and balance system. Because if you're fearless, then you don't really know the dangers of the decision that you're making. So like if you see a snake and you're fearless, you might just like, oh, you like toes? You wanna smell my toes? And your toe's gone. You know what I'm saying? And I remember, like, throughout this whole crypto process, I had so much conviction. I was like, there's no way I'm gonna lose this money. There's no way. But if I had a little bit of fear, I might have been like, let me at least take $100 out. Let me put 100 to the side just in case this don't work out. Not even 50,000. Let me take $500 and just put that in a savings account for rent next month or something like that, But no, I was fearless. And I think that being fearless is kind of praised in today's society, but I don't think that's the way to go about it. I don't think that you want to be fearless. I think you want a little bit of anxiety, a little bit of hesitation, because if you have fear, then you can really think through like, okay, is this decision the decision that I want to make? You know what I mean? Like, is this what I want to do next? If I do this, how could this go wrong? How can I avoid the things that can go wrong? You know, I apply that to everything I do now. Like right now, I run a business, and as a business owner, I cherish the fear. I cherish the fear of like, damn, what if I don't pay rent? What if this relationship, what if this client doesn't book me? And it's like, okay, well, now that I have that fear, you gotta think, okay, where's that fear coming from? It's like, okay, they might not like me if I don't dress nice, if I don't present myself well, if I don't have a good attitude. So now I gotta do all these different things that was stirred up from the fear to make sure that I keep this client, you know? So fear is good. Don't be afraid of fear. You gotta have fear. I wish I had fear because I wouldn't have lost all that fucking money. And I think the last lesson that I really learned from losing that $100,000 was don't be stupid. Oh my God. Like greed, fear, fearlessness, all these things really stem from me just being stupid at the time. I was being dumb and I put all my eggs in one basket. Now, I know that's like the quote that everybody says from like when you're 4 years old, don't put all your eggs in one basket. I actually have like a different version of that. You know, I feel like, yes, putting all your eggs in one basket can be risky, but risk is the only way you're gonna fucking make big moves. That's just what it is. So I think they should change the quote from don't put all your eggs in one basket to don't get attached to your eggs. Be okay with switching the strategy up. You know what I'm saying? Like, it don't have to be this, the eggs is in this basket. It's like, well, I don't want these eggs. I'm gonna make this basket work, but these eggs are cracked and these ones are spoiled. I'm gonna take these eggs and put some new eggs in there, but it's still the same basket. I think that's what made me feel stupid because I was like, this is the only way that I can make $1 million. You know what I'm saying? The basket is me trying to obtain $1 million, but it doesn't have to be through cryptocurrency. It doesn't have to be within the time frame that I want. I still have the same basket. I want to make $1 million one day, but instead, let me take 20 years to make it. Let me do a little bit of cryptocurrency. Let me invest in a home. Let me put some money in the stock market. Let me put some money in my savings account. Like, let me invest in my business and my skills and my conversational skills and talking to clients and stuff. Like, let me do the same basket, just different eggs, you know? So I think that's like the biggest takeaway out of all the lessons I learned is like the eggs that you start with don't have to be the eggs that you end with. Yeah, hopefully that story helps somebody else. I mean, if anybody out here doing some crazy investments, be cautious. Be cautious. Don't be greedy. Be a little fearful. And you don't have to put all your eggs in one basket. And you don't have to be attached to the eggs that you put in that basket. Like you can mix your eggs up a little bit. Yeah, well, that's all I gotta talk about today. We're gonna be back at it tomorrow. My goal right now is to do, I don't know, I might do a year of this. Like, I've always been like nervous about talking in front of the camera, and I'm like, the only way to get good at it is to talk in front of the camera. So this is what we're gonna do for the rest of the year. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Subscribe, leave a comment down below if you have any, I don't even know what you can say. I lost money too, I don't know. But hope you enjoyed the video. Catch you on the next one. Peace.